Stream. We're here outside of another slaughterhouse live today. It is 11:04 on the 23rd of July. We're outside another ABP slaughterhouse, another one that executes cows. Guys, today, two disclaimers to start with. The first disclaimer is that we're not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. We're here today under our right to protest, our public right to assembly and freedom of speech. Our second disclaimer is that we are not here today to point fingers at non-vegans, to say you're a bad person for being non-vegan, and to butt heads with you and clash with you. We're here today to come alongside you and show you the transparency that these industries don't show you, as they thrive off of secrecy. As you're coming into this live stream, please make sure you've subscribed so you can chat, and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and subscribe.
Small holding truck coming out.
Small holding truck coming out, more trucks. There's trucks all the way back in there. There's trucks everywhere in there. Absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. They're smiling and laughing with the security. They don't have any guilt doing this whatsoever. No guilt. How old were the babies you sent there to die? How old were them? How old were the cows?
Don't pick on halal.
But why halal? Why halal?
On.
What's the difference? Wait, before you drive away, what's the difference between
they
halal?
Just slit their throat.
What do you think they do to them in there?
Stun them.
Do you go in there and see it yourself?
Properly.
Have you ever been in there yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, bullshit. Absolute fucking liar.
Shame on you, scumbag!
See that there? It says halal, halal, halal. What happens inside this slaughterhouse is no different. It's the taking of life from someone who doesn't want to die. Triggered little animal farmer. Small holding farmers are the worst. They are the most triggered. You should go and speak to halal. Why is that? Because they slit their throat. I'll tell you what happens inside this slaughterhouse after you've subscribed and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to conversations around veganism and animal rights. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals, like the guy who just drove away in that van with the trailer. Double tap the live stream. Let's get 50 subscribers as fast as possible. Now, what's going to happen to the animals inside this very slaughterhouse where he's just dropped them off and committed the biggest act of betrayal? They're going to be forced onto a kill floor, into a knockbox.
Another truck coming out.
They'll have a bolt gun shot into their face. They'll be lifted up by 1 leg, and then they'll have their throat slashed. No difference at all. It's easy to put it onto a different religion that's not yours, though, isn't it? It's easy to say, go and speak to them guys, go and speak to them guys, go and speak to them guys. It's all the same. No religion mandates the execution of animals for optional products, so you can't use religion to justify it. Here comes another one. Now, look, I want you to take note of this. Small holding farmer coming out with a trailer, probably dropped off 2 or 3 cows. Factory farming coming out here. Guess what? Both cows from the same slaughterhouse, same layerage, same knife, same kill floor. How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night sending these animals off to their deaths? This is a slave truck, in my opinion. There are animals on there who wanted to live, and these people are absolutely betraying them. There's no justification for the context of the live stream. From here, I've got to be 400 meters away from the layerage, and I can hear the bellows and cries of mercy from where we're stood right now. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded, thinking, why are vegans outside of a slaughterhouse live streaming? And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals, if you believe that animals can be exploited in any which way you see fit for optional products, if you don't morally consider animals whatsoever. Make sure you've double tapped the likes. How many have we got on the likes?
We've got 12 likes right now.
All right, we need 50 before the next truck comes. 2 trucks have just come out and we passed the truck on the way.
You look at me funny, put a comment. Can you guys stop comparing slavery to animals? I'm a black person, it's pissing me off.
Yeah, good, and I hope it does piss you off, and I hope that you can understand the direct correlation between what happened to black people because of the colour of their skin and what's happening to animals because they have feathers, fur, beaks and hooves instead of skin, fingers and toes. There's no difference. Everyone has subjective experience. They're all sentient beings. How can you be against what happened to the oppression of black people because of the colour of their skin and be pro against the oppression to another individual because they have feathers and fur on? Absolutely ridiculous. If you're against oppression, then you should be vegan. Yeah, these are the vets that are sent to slaughterhouses. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Veterinary.
Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are against helping animals, if you're anti-vegan. double tap the live stream. We need 50 likes in this room
See what it
before
says?
the next truck comes. And I want everyone to see the animals as they come in. We've got people in the room who are angry, saying that we shouldn't be comparing slavery to what happens to animals. I'm going to explain why in a second. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're a good person with a kind heart. Subscribe and 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Please make sure you hit the bell notification too, because we go all over the UK doing live streams every single week to bring you, the consumer, the reality and the truth. Now, what determines a slave? When you take away their bodily autonomy, when you give them a number, not a name, when you put chains around their ankles and around their necks, when you confine them into small hutches or confinement of any kind, forced to do what you want them to do, the oppressor, and then what? When you don't want them anymore, they're executed, they're thrown away, they're discarded. Look at every single animal in animal agriculture or any industry that exploits animals, and you tell me that you're not looking into the eyes of a slave, because in my opinion, it's a direct correlation. They are all slaves.
The irony of this person who is against racism said there is a difference between humans and animals, and there is proof behind this. That's exactly what white people view black people like.
Keep an eye out. Give us the exact proof what the difference is. Why should we morally consider you, but we shouldn't morally consider the cows inside this building behind us? What is the difference? There is no moral difference as to why one should be morally considered and the others shouldn't. This is called speciesism, and in fact is a form of racism. So if you're against racism, you're directly being racist towards the animals in the form of speciesism.
Exactly.
Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, if you think that animal oppression and exploitation is okay. Double tap the stream to subscribe.
We've got 29 likes in the comments right now.
Okay, great. So we need another, 21 before the next truck comes along. People get really annoyed and really angry when you give them these direct correlations against the injustice, because you're against one of it, but as soon as you put it into an animal, you've been indoctrinated. It's called cognitive dissonance. You think that it's okay to do it to them because you've been taught that it's okay to do it to them. But if you stop and actually think about it, there is no difference. There's no reason why we shouldn't morally consider these animals. They are smells. They're sentient. What sentient means is they're having a subjective experience of their life. They have the ability to fear pain. They have the ability to feel emotions and suffer. Therefore, we should morally consider them. Because imagine if someone just said to you, I'm going to oppress you because you got blonde hair. And because you got blonde hair, I'm going to steal your babies. And because you got blonde hair, I'm going to forcefully make you pregnant, steal your babies, steal your milk. And when I don't think that you're profitable enough anymore, I'm going to send you to a slaughterhouse and they'll be executed. And all the females that you've given birth to, I'm going to make them replace you and I'm going to start impregnating them. That's the dairy industry. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan and you think that animal exploitation is okay. Double tap the live stream. We need 50 likes before the next truck of animals turn up.
We're on 37 likes right now.
Okay.
Steve, why are we here and who we're here in collaboration with today?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. We're here today to bring the reality and the truth to the members of the public that the industry tries so hard to hide. Now, an organisation who we're collaborating with today who does an amazing job at that is Animal Aid. And if you go into the description of this live stream and you hit on the 3 dots, you can go to the Animal Aid investigation page and go and see all the investigations that Animal Aid have conducted throughout the UK, bringing light into the darkness of industries that exploit animals. Go and see the reality and the truth for yourself and ask yourself, why does it take brave activists like Animal Aid to go in and expose these industries? Why does it take people to go in undercover and actually film and expose the injustice that happens to animals? And whilst you're on Animal Aid's website, I also suggest you take the vegan pledge, you have a look around, you see other ways how you can help. At the moment, there's going to be a big push to help stop greyhound racing. Greyhound racing is cruel, it's violent, it's again unnecessary, it should be stopped. If you're against any of them things, there's petitions to sign, there's ways you can go and help. So please click on the 3 dots in the description and go and check out animalaid.org.uk and their investigations.
Random edits put, how do you get all that protein in you?
Easily, because nutrients come from plants. And when I can choose nutrients that come from the source that didn't scream for their life inside of a slaughterhouse, it's always going to be my moral and ethical option. So all I simply do is my morals and ethics, I connected with the animals, right? I understood that all of a sudden this dairy cow was in there because I demanded that her milk was made for my cheese and for my milk in my coffee. And then I understood why she was in there. And then I connected and I thought, do you know what? I'm never going to be responsible for that again. All I had to do then was a quick Google search. What's the best forms of protein if I want to be vegan? Oh, seitan, tempeh, tofu, legumes, chickpeas, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. The next time I go to the supermarket, I'm buying all that stuff. It's as easy as that.
Well,
subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded, thinking, why are vegans outside of a slaughterhouse live streaming? Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the live stream. I'm gonna swap in with Mel.
Right, guys, we're on 52 likes. Let's get to 100 likes before I tell you something about the industry don't want you to know. Please subscribe at the top of this live stream to comment. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream. Please keep commenting and asking questions. We'll be answering questions today. Behind me is a slaughterhouse. I'm here to defend the animals. I have one purpose, and it's to defend them and show you the truth and the reality. People often drive past this place. They don't realise what happens behind these gates of evil. They don't realise the stabbing, the murder that happens behind here to animals. It's disgusting. You can use the word slaughter, murder, it's all the same. It's just a different victim. Like the person who was against us comparing this to slavery. This, in fact, is actually the biggest slavery that's ever happened to another being is on the animals. I'm not saying that what happened to people of different colour, different races isn't bad, that's horrific, but it shouldn't be happening to anybody. That's the point. So when you are saying you're annoyed that we're comparing it, it's the same though, isn't it? It's, if a slave is a slave, whether that's a human, whether that's a cow, whether that's a chicken, a dog, anybody, it's all the same. Okay, please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, keep liking this live. When we get to 100 likes, I'm gonna tell you something that the industry tries so hard to hide from you, something that you won't hear anywhere else.
Anyone coming into the live stream, what's this building behind you?
A slaughterhouse. Behind me is a slaughterhouse where they kill cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry. We're here in collaboration with Animal Aid today. Go to the link in the description. You'll see the investigation that happened here. You'll see what happens in this evil place. Have a look at all the investigations that they've done, like the smallholding farmer that left earlier. You should go protest halal. We protest everything because there's no right way to do the wrong thing. These animal farmers think that it's okay to stab animals in the throat and leave them hanging up by one leg bleeding out, and they don't realise it's no different to halal. It's all the same. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, comment and share. There's another smallholding farmer there backing up to unload cows. There's a big truck. See inside actually, factory farm trucks and smallholding trucks.
Yeah.
They all come to the same place. There's no difference. There's no difference, but people often go, oh no, if you buy from a local farmer, an organic or free range, there's no difference. It's all the exact same thing. It's just that they've lied to you with marketing. They've fooled you. They've mugged you off to pay for such violence towards childlike beings. Please subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share and comment and ask questions. Is there a question?
People were saying that plants are alive.
Yeah, plants are alive. Thank you for that statement. That's like saying that my Ring doorbell works when someone pushes the button. No, what you're trying to get out is that you think that they're sentient like an animal, but they're not. We're animals, by the way. It's weird that people compare animals to plants, but they fail to compare humans to plants when humans are a form of animal. We're just a different species. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Oh, smallholding farmer, guys. Evil scumbag. How dare they do this? Shameful. Shameful. How dare you? Hey, babies. I'm sorry, babies. I'm sorry, babies. Hi, darling. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're not like these evil people. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. See her there. Touching the nose of an individual I know is going to be stabbed in the throat. I can't explain that feeling to you. I can't explain how that feels like, knowing that they're going to a slaughterhouse right now. They're going inside a place of evil to be killed. It's disgusting. It's evil. These childlike beings didn't do anything wrong. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, comment, share. Keep double tapping this live stream so more people see these dear animals who are going inside here. They look like cows from the beef and dairy industry inside here, roughly around 18 months old. The oldest of the dairy cows are around 3 years old. Going to a slaughterhouse, the ultimate betrayal that anyone can put upon someone else is pretending to give them a home and yet sending them to a slaughterhouse to be killed, to be stabbed in the throat. How could they? How could they do this? Shameful. It's disgusting. How dare they do this? How dare they do this? Absolutely horrific. They're going in right now to be killed inside of a slaughterhouse. Look at their little nose at the top. Look at your victims. Look at your victims. Their little noses at the top, poking out the last moments of life before they're inside this place where they'll be so afraid, so scared, around people who are going to stab them in the throat. How dare they? How do you live with yourself? How do you live with yourself? Doing this to the most innocent, childlike beings. I think there was a child in the front of that car. There was a child being indoctrinated, being conditioned to think that stabbing animals in the throat is okay. I think that's the scummiest parent of all. Is someone who indoctrinates your child to partake in the violence to their friends, who they would call friends. Subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are an anti-vegan, a disgusting animal farmer, a disgusting slave owner, in my opinion.
Did you notice that there were beef and dairy cows on that?
Yeah.
Do you want to explain, like, to anyone who doesn't know what that might be?
Yeah, so basically a lot of these industries, in the dairy industry, basically the males are classed as a waste product because they don't produce milk, so they would kill them. So to maximize profit, they now do this sex semen stuff. So they get a breeding facility to give them semen from like an Angus bull to create a beef cow so that the mother still produces milk, but they take the cow away and they wait for them to grow until they're 18 months old to maximize profits and still kill them. Horrific, horrific. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream. Please like, comment, share. Keep double tapping this live and liking this live. The more people like this, the more the animals are seen. They need to be seen by the world. This isn't okay. This isn't good enough. This is disgusting. Our species has done this to these animals, and we owe them to stop this.
2 things, who are we here with in collaboration today, and why would a dairy cow be going to a slaughterhouse?
Yeah, we're here in collaboration today with Animal Aid, an incredible charity for animals who do investigations. They drive protests, they drive campaigns to fight against this. I'm here outside a slaughterhouse where I've just witnessed cows from the beef and the dairy industry going inside this place. Cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry are 2 different breeds of cows. One is genetically modified to grow large in a short space of time. The beef cows and the dairy cows have been genetically modified to produce so much milk. They've been forcibly impregnated. The cows had their babies taken away after 9 months of them being in their tummy, just like your mother had you in your tummy. When they can no longer produce milk or produce more babies, they're taken to a slaughterhouse around 3 years old on average. 20% of cows that go to slaughter are still pregnant. The way that they kill them, I'll tell you in a moment. Subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, keep liking, sharing, commenting. So what happens? The cows go in pregnant. They will slit the cow's throat. They will hang her up by 1 leg, let her bleed out. They'll then cut into her stomach. They take the baby out of her stomach. They then leave the baby on the floor. They cut into the sack the baby's in, and they suffocate to death on the floor. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, comment, and share. I've just stroked the nose of a victim who's going to be stabbed in the throat today. Have you ever done that? Have you ever looked into the eyes of a victim through a slap, stroking their nose, apologising them for our species existence.
You can hear them crying from here.
They're all crying in there. I can't believe this place exists. I cannot believe somewhere like this even exists and individuals are going inside this evil place. I'm just going to switch back in with Steve.
Well said. Are you okay after that? Are you
Yeah,
all
it
right?
just breaks you.
Them interactions are really tough, aren't they? You don't even realise, you can't
And you
brace
hear them
yourself for
crying,
them.
just hearing them crying at the back, it hurts. I feel physical pain. I feel physical pain that I'm so heartbroken for these animals.
It's actually really surreal seeing them here, knowing that they're going to be murdered, like knowing that that is a victim of the industry who is going to be murdered. They don't go behind there and just fall asleep and like drift off, which would still be ethically wrong. But the animals who we're seeing outside the front here today, who you've just seen on the live stream, they'll be going in to face one of the most horrific, brutal murders of you could ever imagine. Imagine if that was your loved one. Imagine if that was your dog. Imagine if that was your family member, your brother, your sister, your mum, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, your granddad. Imagine if it was someone who you cared for and they were being driven in there, in my opinion, on a slave truck into that building to be absolutely brutally executed and stabbed to death, to be chopped up, and all because someone says, I like cheese, I like milk chocolate, I like burgers, I like steaks, it's my taste pleasure, I'm more important. Imagine how you'd feel. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're a kind person, but you're not vegan yet, but you're wondering why 2 vegans are outside of a slaughterhouse live streaming. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat. If you don't care about animals, if you believe that what happens to animals is absolutely okay and we can just execute them, use them, exploit them, commodify them, and do whatever we see fit to them, because after all, we're humans and we're superior. Give the good old superiority complex for a number 3. But please make sure you've double tapped the stream. Get the likes in here. We've got over 100 likes now. At 150 likes, Mel's going to tell you a new fact or something new. So please get the likes coming in. More likes means more people means more eyes on the animals, and that means more change for them. This is our objective today. Like we said, our first disclaimer is not to come here and clash with non-vegans and point fingers at you and saying you're a bad person. It's to come alongside you and tell you, listen, did you know that the industries have lied to you and they're absolutely horrific, violent and evil, and they're unnecessary? Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded while we're here. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the stream. We're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. Please go into the link in the description, hit the top link and go and see the Animal Aid investigation page. Go and see all the investigations that they've committed all through the UK, all on industries that exploit animals. Go to animalaid.org.uk if you don't click that link, and please go and subscribe to their vegan pledge on their website, and also support the other campaigns. We're here today outside of a slaughterhouse that are executing dairy cows and beef cows. This is an ABP slaughterhouse. Now this slaughterhouse here will be taking dairy and beef cows. The reason why I say dairy and beef cows is because they're 2 different breeds of cows, like what Mel explained earlier. I'll tell you why after you put 1 in the chat, after you've subscribed. 1 in the chat for vegans, subscribe. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to what we're here. Subscribe, and 3 in the chat for anti-vegans. Double tap the stream. Now when we say dairy cows, these cows have been genetically modified and selectively bred to produce milk, and that's why they're viewed as a dairy cow, because this is the industry that exploits them. It's a standalone industry and they're executed when their milk production drops down.
Yeah guys, keep liking the live. We've got 120 likes in here right now.
Okay.
We've got Alice back in the room. She put, farmers, turn your farms into a sanctuary.
Yes.
I want to, and I'm a farmer's daughter. Alice, I've just seen a farmer's daughter go inside this place with their potentially dad, with cows from the dairy and the beef industry. Is this something that you did? Obviously, I know you never go inside the slaughterhouse, but how did it feel knowing that those cows you saw and you maybe loved as a child are going to be killed, or did you ever know?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the thing. The industry do an amazing job of never letting the consumers know, never letting the public know. I even challenged the farmer who drove out today. I said, do you ever go to the kill floor? He said, yeah, load of rubbish. They never allow the farmers on the kill floor. You're not allowed on the kill floor if you're a farmer. So the fact that he pretended that he went with his cows all the way through to the slaughterhouse is a load of nonsense. It's the indoctrination that we get from animal farmers. Animal farmers are viewed as like some kind of pillar of society, some sort of, if we didn't have them, we'd have civilization collapse, which is a load of nonsense. Like Alice is saying, you can turn these farms into sanctuaries and let the animals live out their lives happily. The only farming systems we need is arable farming, crop farmers. And yes, we don't have veganic farming yet because the farmers who farm crops aren't vegan. How can we convince farmers to stop shooting birds, rice and mice and all sorts of wildlife if we can't convince them to stop forcing pregnancies on animals, stealing their babies and sending them to slaughterhouses? Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. anti-vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, subscribe and put 3 in the chat. If you don't care about animals, double tap the live stream. Please go into the top right-hand corner, hit the 3 dots and go to Animal Aid's investigation page, animalaid.org.uk. You can see all the investigations that Animal Aid have done and uncovered, and you'll be absolutely shocked to see what happens right here in the UK.
We're at 127 likes in the room. Keep liking, sharing.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to comment as well. What's happened today, Steve? Where are we? What's going on?
Yeah, so we're outside of a slaughterhouse today, live streaming, because these industries rely on secrecy, and we're here today to force the transparency. So by bringing the transparency to you, you have an absolute chance of being educated to make an educated decision. Right now, the transparency is taken away from you, and actually it's replaced with lies. They lie to you. What? Why are you so triggered? Come here. Why are you so triggered? Triggered. Some little crybaby troll pulled up his car and just swore at me and then drove off. I said, come and talk to me. He drives away like a real crybaby troll. That's a number 3. That's a little baby who can't control their emotions. You know, like when you see children in the supermarket and their parents take away like their lolly or something and they jump up and down and they kick and scream and stamp. This is a number 3. He's seen us here and this has threatened him because he likes this and I want that. So what does he do? Rather than critically think about it and say, oh, I'll have a conversation as to why they might be there trying to be nice to animals, he jumps up and down and drives off and swears at people like a big crybaby troll. Don't be a number 3. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're open-minded as to why we're here, subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan, if you're like that crybaby troll who just drove away.
The one with the daughter coming out is coming out now.
Because they've got their daughter in there, I don't feel it's right to be like shouting because it's not fair for her. She's, you know, what do you think?
I would just ask the man how does he sleep at night? Don't have to shout, just ask.
Okay, yeah. I won't shout because I don't want to. Yeah, this will be memorable for her, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This will be memorable for her. There's another trailer coming out as well. There's
Move
2.
now.
How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel doing that to them animals? Do you notice what he done? He put her in the back.
Yeah,
He hid her.
I saw.
He hid her.
I saw.
He moved it. He hid her. How do you sleep at night doing this to them animals? How do you sleep at night? Injustice. History will know you for exactly what you've done to the most vulnerable beings. Look at the shit coming out the back of that van. Look. Look at the animal shit coming out of there. The reason why there is so much shit coming out of that van or that trailer is because when animals go inside these buildings, they have an automatic nervous system, right? They have an autonomic and somatic nervous system, fight and flight responses. So when they go inside these buildings, their body is just defecating out of fear. So their trailers end up absolutely swamped with wee and poo, where the animals have got absolute fear-induced terror. The cars is driven just spraying everywhere. Let's stand over here, we're gonna get covered in all that stuff. Absolutely horrific. Now, for the context of the video, of the live stream, the farmer who had the baby girl in the front when he came around the corner, when he left, he had moved her to the back seat so that she couldn't see the people trying to defend animals. Why? Because if she had seen people saying, let's be kind to cows, let's not hurt them, it starts to undo her indoctrination that he's layering up on her.
Exactly.
She's starting to see the world for what it is. At the moment, all she sees is my parents or my guardians who have the animals and we look after the animals. And, oh yeah, once a week we take them to this building and drop them off. By the way, when they go to the lairage, it just looks like another big barn to start with. It's a big holding area. So they can drive the animals here, drop them off at the big barn, take their money and drive away. And this is exactly how the indoctrination starts on these children. And then they believe it's okay. They never see what actually happens to the animals. If you want to see what happens to the animals, and go into the description, go and look at Animal Aid's investigations and see it for yourself. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and subscribe. We're here today